Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to another 080 Alpha 23 replay commentary analysis. Today, we're following a 2v2 game between some players that, well, I don't even know who they are, but they're all very similarly rated. But nonetheless, the real interest here lies in the map, because they're not playing on mainland or another map similar, they're playing on ambush. And as we're going to see, that brings its very own challenges and opportunities. So let's just see how that goes, shall we? So, welcome to the game, and let's have a quick look. So, as I've explained, this is ambush, and that means that basically things are at different levels. So, you need to kind of work your way around. So, if you look on the mini map, you can see these things which are kind of a more brown, uh, green, browny, greeny color. They're the actual pathways that you can take between these kind of jutted kind of bits of rock. So if let's say your troops manage to get up to here, they wouldn't be able to just come straight down. They have to find their way back round. Kind of. So sorry, I didn't actually express where that was. So you've got some soldiers up here, for instance. They're going to have to go all the way down to here before they can eventually come to here. So knowing the layout of the map is of absolutely critical importance. So what we'd expect to see is immediate scouting, and we don't have it. So that's understandable, though it's still only in the first minute. But Green has managed to he's already got 3 cavalry, so he probably could have used one of them to try and find his way out. Because what we're going to find here, particularly, there's a clear kind of front line around here between green and blue. Red, it's quite a bit further away from anyone, as is yellow. And yellow's obviously got that, the protection of the city walls as the Iberians. So we'll just have a quick look at the players. I think you can always ignore the ratings on games like this because it's not, uh, it's a very different game. As we can see, here's your yellow. Well done, yellow. Yellow is trying to find out, as is green. So within the first 2 minutes, good scouting. Red and blue, not so much. So that is very helpful. And it's sensible because one of the other things is that if there, for instance, was metal or stone here, green might be thinking on the one hand, oh great, I've got metal and stone right near me. On the other hand, they have to walk all the way up this corridor and then all the way back up here to get there. So it's not actually close by at all. So it can be quite misleading in that sense, and people can get into kind of a false sense of security. I've certainly done that playing these sorts of maps, in that you get to a certain position, then you're like, hold on, I'm actually in getting, for instance, you think you're building out towards your enemy, and say you come up onto this thing, and then you've got yourself great resources, everything's excellent. Oh, I have to walk all the way back round here, like all the way back to here in order to actually attack. Particularly if you're using things like catapults, then that can become uh, really frustrating because in order to attack something from a certain position, you really need to make sure you position them in a good place. Otherwise, if you're up here, you might, so up by this stone here, you might be able to attack things just here, but if they had something you want to attack that's just a little bit further away, might not be able to reach, in which case you've got to go all the way back round. So it's pretty important. But as we can see at the moment, we're almost 3 minutes in. Blue has gone for infantry, which I assume they're going to be slingers. No, they're not slingers, actually. That's interesting. So he's done very well, really, because blue and red have not only got decent amount, actual population, absolute levels, they've also got soldiers at this point, which is unlike the other two. So although yellow and green may be marginally ahead, they're not anymore, in fact, but they were marginally ahead. Now, if there was just be some kind of fight, their infantry would lose. And we can see, so they've got four infantry for each of them. What have they gone for? Very interesting. So very smart play here using the what do you call it? Using the women to build a farmstead and then getting the elephants killed nearby. and then reduces the amount of time required to deposit the food, and there, that's great for booming. So how many barracks do we have? Everyone has one barracks, nice and equal. Yeah, it's actually spun just how equal the populations are. That's why you so rarely see something like this. But we can see that if actually we go to the economy upgrades, it looks very much like blue is ahead, but it's not. What's he been spending metal on? I don't know, he's only got 100 metal. That's red, that's why. What's blue been spending metal on? I can see stone's obviously the slingers, and he's also collecting stone, but he's been like no one, or it doesn't look like anyone has the first stronger axe. They do. Okay, blue's finally got, so that's what he's done it on. 100 on this, 100 on this, but it wasn't complete at that point, so that's why I didn't see it. So these are some of the first upgrades I get. So certainly red and yellow really should be getting that. Like, that's an absolute priority. I would hope to have got that within the first couple of minutes, because this, I don't know how much it's actually supposed to give you. 25%. Yeah, it's a phenomenal increase. Like, if someone offered you a 25% interest rate on something, you would, like, or not, you're paying it, that would be a terrible deal. But if you were to get that on like a savings account, you would snap it up in a second. And this is the same thing. Such a small investment to get such a massive, like, baskets comparatively. What have we got? It doesn't mean it increases the amount they can carry by 50%. So I suppose you could argue that it's better, but it's never what I would go for first. Maybe it's something I should look at. I would always go with it. I get that before I've built a barracks even, because it, in terms of just having that upgrade, by the time you actually then get around to building a barracks, it's much quicker to get them in that order, if that makes sense. Let me try and explain that in a better sense. So if you get the iron axe heads up before you build a barracks, they both cost 200 stone in this case. So we're not talking about like a barracks in for the Morians or the Britons or the Celtic factions generally. You're going to need 200 wood. So if you get this upgrade with your first 200 wood, you will then collect the next 200 25% more quickly. And that in itself works out a much quicker way round than it would be if you got the barracks and then tried to use the extra soldiers that you've done, especially as those extra soldiers cost wood in general. So they're going to actually slow you down in reaching for that. So that's something that I actually never really thought about in terms of completely the logical steps, but yeah, it definitely makes sense. It's completely irrational to do it the other way around. The only thing I could think of that would justify it is if you could, I don't know, train maybe lots of slingers that don't cost that much. Don't cost that much wood, and then they gather more wood. But I would always go the other way around. I mean, you could look at it though. I suppose I'm just trying to play devil's advocate at this point. You could, I suppose, argue that you're better prepared to defend yourself or to do some kind of attack on your opponent that way, and that's true. But from a purely economic ground, the thing is I would be getting that upgrade, like I say, within the first 2 or 3 minutes. So it's generally you wouldn't need a lot. But let's have a quick look at the maps. So we can see Team Blue and Red. Blue is unfortunately for him housed, while Red has been doing superbly. And these guys, they're still not. Oh, he does. I don't know if he'll have noticed that tiny amount of blue that he could see. If he did, let's just have a quick. Let's go and grab the green again. Yeah, that's fine. I was going to say, I thought if these were all women up here, then that would be very, very bold. But he's looking like they're all looking good, and it's very, very similar. Gas mask in the yellow is really taking advantage of the fact that he's in this corner to boom away. Let's see what we're at with the state of play with the thing. So blue and red ahead in terms of numbers of barracks. Do they have the like particularly red? Do they have the economy to actually make the most of that? Um, Certainly should do in terms of the fields. That's 10 fields. 10 fields very early on. I'm surprised. Are these just sat? It came up as 3, even though only 2 of them are actually functional at this point, so that's why. So I just feel like he should be able to train in bigger batches than he is, but he's really struggling for metal. Sorry, for wood. So I'd cancel the. Just use women from here. You've got 2 other barracks training soldiers. You don't need them at that point, so just get women coming from this so that you can use some of this massive amount of food. I mean, you're insane. You're floating insane amounts of food and you haven't got any wood. So, like the other thing is, which is something that I mean find quite hard to do. It just feels like it gives you kind of a like a mental block. The idea that you take women off of farming when they've got farms there and then move them on to getting wood. But this is a prime example of where you should be doing that. Like, there's no way that you should be having this level of mismatch between that. Equally, the blue guy needs to get some more farms in quickly. So if he's got a load of women collecting wood, and I think he must do. Where are they? Oh no, he's just got a load of them there doing nothing. That's one of the problems. But still, they're winning good upgrades. No one's going to phase 2 yet. That's interesting. I'm normally at phase 2 at about this kind of point in terms of when I've got that level of population, so maybe a little bit higher, but I would also expect to reach that population before 10 minutes and then be moving across to phase 2. So everyone's, I mean, yellow's really hasn't got the food. He's made a bit of a botch of that. Again, a misallocation of resources. Come on, these guys don't need to collect wood. Get them building farms. You need farms. These guys, again, get yourself farming. So it's fascinating actually watching this sort of game, because if this was mainland, it would have a certain then it really would be much easier to attack and to do it. Whereas it's actually more easy to defend in this, because you can have a natural kind of you can use the terrain to offer kind of natural choke points and natural defenses. So this, like, if you're a connoisseur of European history, this area is basically Poland, and then you've got Russia over here and Prussia or Germany over here. This area is nice and flat, easy to attack through. So there's no kind of natural defences here, which is one of the reasons that so many countries wanted to control Poland, and then have that be able to get to some mountains on the other side that would then move their defences a little bit further out, rather than have someone able to get straight into Minsk or wherever. Right. And here it's going okay. Then see, now if I were yellow, yellow were me, yellow were me, I were yellow, he's got so much. The first thing I do at this point is, as soon as that hits phase 2, but get yourself a market and two forges, whatever they're called, blacksmiths, and then you're straight to phase 3. So yeah, that's disappointing, because he's got all of the resources that he needs, but blue's in the same position. Okay, he's at least built one phase 2 and 2, and here goes the market. So he can basically go straight to phase 3 in about 0 seconds. Oh, he's used all of his metal. He had loads of metal a second ago. What happened there? I started getting all the upgrades. Yeah, so, okay, he can't go straight through, but yellow is in that position. Now, where are your phase 2? But come on, yellow. Right, we've got 1, 2, 3. And instead of using his, like, he's got so, he could be using more than 5 people today. He could have just used these guys, 66 of them, and built those things in a fraction of the time and already be phase 3 as it is. He's allowed blue to get to phase 3, who's done very well. One of my favourite tricks is to be the first to trade and get the best prices, float a load of wood or food, and then get all of the mineral resources that you need before other people. And now if we look at the prices, yeah, look, much, much lower. Stone actually isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. He didn't really buy much stone, did he? But yeah, if you look, the price of metal is now much worse. Green still hasn't even got to phase 2. He's really got to get moving. Come on, get motoring. You've got a good population, but you need to really. How can you not even be phase 2 yet when you've got so much? You've collected so many of the resources. And it's waiting to go. And how many barracks are we looking at? He's still only got 3 as opposed to yellow's 7, 4 each. So blue reaching the city phase early on puts him in a really, really strong position. He should. He's quite nice as well. Got the thing. Let's have a look at the military upgrades. He's ahead there. He's looking solid. The one thing I would say is he's quite fortunate actually that green is not really hasn't progressed, because he needs a military colony in order to be able to train swordsmen, in order to have a chance of stopping a kind of a ram onslaught. So he hasn't done that. I mean, it's I think one of the best buildings in the whole game. It's so cheap, 200 each of wood, metal, and stone. And just check that that's actually true. Yep. And it's just, well, it's a drop site, and it gives you effectively it is like a civic centre, so it gives you a place you can just, when you're getting further out in a way, you just pop people inside there, and if anyone comes by with cavalry or whatever, then they can't get near you, because the arrows from being inside there will kill them too quickly. What do we have here? Another town centre going up. He's finally gone to phase 3. It hasn't really. Should get another one of these at least. Okay, theatre. That's theatron. That's very interesting. I never build those. When I'm told me the first thing I build in phase 3 is this thing, which gets you money off all of the upgrades and technologies that you want from now on. But get more of these, because you just want to get those upgrades and be in a position where, if anything happens, you are kind of the most heavily armoured and army with the best weapons. Okay, so yellow is coming through now. Now red's not really helping out. It would be interesting to know how much they spoke to each other about this. Oh, blue, here we go. Oh, it's game on. Blue is like, come on. Or is he? Is he just actually checking? Is he just? No, he's actually just exploring properly for the first time. But here we go. Is this the military colony? It is. Perfect. It's a shame. because this whole area is, it's going to be hard actually, I think, for red to reinforce. So it is one of those things where tactically could have made a real difference, because red, can he come through? Oh no, he can come through that way. So there are two ways through for red. He comes through here, but that is quite slow, or he can come through here, but which I think would be quicker. It's possibly also not ideal. It might also not be as fast as you'd like. So red is not really able to help blue out. Again, it's kind of a bit of an issue. But red has instead decided to go kind of on the attack. But how do you get up? Again, the natural defense is here. So yellow should be looking, in order to defend his flank, he's got to defend this pass. So let's have a look at it. He's got loads of stone. Fortress right here. Towers up here. Make sure that is incredibly difficult, and you're good basically. He could try and come through this way, but again, fortress, towers, walls even for this, quite simple, like a few layers of walls there, and they don't have to all be stone walls, wooden walls, what they call wooden palisades, anything that just makes that difficult. And you're in a really strong position. Now this is very smart, using the opponent's territory to build one of your military camps, and that means, oh no, a couple of guys there decided to wave. One of the most frustrating things that can ever happen. And now we are 2-on-1, so, and you can see from here, let's look at red's perspective. This is where he doesn't have, at this point, a huge number of troops kind of on his border, but he's got, he's got plenty, absolutely plenty, but doesn't have the, what do you call them? Is he building a, no, so he is building a fortress, which is meaning that he's able to protect it. Yeah, this, can't help but feel that this is a real tactical misstep. I mean, one of the things that would be absolutely genius actually is if you could get a fortress up here, because that would fire on them from down, like that would fire anyone coming through that way, but you also wouldn't be able to take it out with rams or elephants. You would have to use catapults on it, which takes time, and that would give you time then to bring your soldiers back and start to mount the defense if needed. That seems, yeah, yellow has made, I mean, pretty, like, it, on the one hand, you're looking at this, you're saying, well, all yellow needs to do is secure that border down here. And look, this is what red's doing now. Red is doing what yellow should have done, and ironically, probably what red shouldn't do, because this weird crisscross thing is to stop rams. You've got rams. That's all you've got. You need the rams. Don't stop your rams getting through. And he's now starting to mass rams. So, okay, we've got catapults coming up here. That should make it so that this collapses relatively quickly. This can build fortress. He's got, what are you guys? Yeah, Italian heavy infantry is producing catapult upon catapult. But this, oh dear. Can't help if he's got some kind of, oh, they're starting to trade as well, which is in these sorts of games can be very useful, because they tend to go on for a long time. This one doesn't. I chose it specifically because I don't like watching, like if I'm watching YouTube, I don't want to watch a video that's like 45 minutes long. Like I'm just not interested. So if that's the case, I assume that's also the case for other people. So I like to keep them under half an hour. I mean, someone can watch it on their lunch break or whatever and still have time. All right, here we go. It doesn't have, like, he wants to have plenty of swordsmen back. Where are the swordsmen that you really need? Because you need to stop rams. You don't have any. Okay, here we go. We've got the fight is going on here. These should. Okay, so the military colony is gone. This should be going. More rams. More rams coming. Oh, he's got catapults, which is. They are going to be good. They're actually surprisingly effective at knocking out rams, as we've just seen there. But they're also quite vulnerable to swordsmen. They'll be taken down in no time, and he's just got a hero swordsman who's doing exactly that. Where are all your swords? You've got 28 of them here. What are they doing? They should be chopping these guys down. Right, what do we have over here? Simultaneously, oh no, your gates. You left the gates open. See here, because he hasn't got any additional soldiers in there, not in a strong position. But imagine if it had, these guys couldn't have even got through here because there was. So okay, he's got the swordsman now working well. So blue is struggling, and red can't help him. So the only choice that they have is for red to counterattack this way. So yellow's trying to pull his soldiers back. Yellow's got the upgrades, so he should be actually relatively well off. And green is now trying to take out this stuff. Why didn't you? Where did all your? I think the catapults are coming here. Are they just out of range then? Oh, that's so frustrating. These guys have decided that because they've seen the most, pointless AI decision to attack the storehouse doesn't achieve anything. Are any of these swordsmen? No, if they were, they might have had a chance to attack this, but they should be really suffering. Why aren't you putting your soldiers into the towers here? Like they can. Oh, some are. Okay. These guys. Oh no, they're not. They're walking through. So red is still well on top. Finally, he's got some rams coming through. But green. Okay, so blue's basically given up. So they have to push on. But blue has another thing here, but he's in trouble. He's lost everything. But green has to push on to red. Do they know that? Right. I have real sympathy with this position actually, because sometimes because blue's going to escape with these guys, they can go and build another military colony, can build a load of houses, and before you know it, they're back in the game. So on one hand, you want to just make sure that they're gone. They're completely dead. You don't want them to be coming back. Like, have you not got the resources or something? He hasn't got any food. Oh my god. And so who's going to stop the rams? But yellow badly needs green to take out. Okay. He's got this. And he's going for strange use of resources. He's out of everything. He's going to possibly lose, unless it's got no one inside it, so he could easily lose that wonder. And he spent an absolute mass on there, but it's quite a good play from blue. He's leading him a merry dance. So is green going to be able to help yellow? And he needs to do it by attacking red. If he was able to come in here, he could force red to come back. But as it is, does yellow just think he's fine? Oh, dear. And now here comes the fortress that should have been there about 10 minutes ago. Maybe he thinks he's right. Green is coming through, but they don't really have a chance. Bit of fight going on here. Yeah, if we could get those catapults aiming at these buildings, then it would be good. So they, as expected, failed to get the thing up. We've got a Good hero, Leonidas.
Yeah, see?
Gives his spearman +1 attack. Oh, all melee. And melee get +1 damage on their thing, and he's probably got plenty of
Yeah, see?
spearmen on that basis. No, he doesn't. But they haven't gone for Brasidas. Gas Mask has just managed to lose track of what's going on. He needs to do with his economy. Where are these catapults? These guys are waving at houses. He's coming in from the north now. Attack these, like
Yeah,
the
see?
shield bearers, whatever they're called, Royal Infantry Guard. You could just kill them in a matter of seconds. As expected, he's starting to rebuild. He's got plenty of resources. And now it's Yellow who is in huge trouble. He's going to lose this civic centre. It's either going to be captured or it's going to be, or he's going to have to see it destroyed. He's taken too long to realise that he needs to stop this ram. He's got plenty of metal, but hasn't been making swordsmen. 6 barracks. Yeah, he's not. Oh, but he hasn't got any wood. Okay, so this looks bad, very bad. Now Green's coming in. Can he? What's this fortress? Are these guys? What are they doing? Not quite sure. Okay, Gas Mask has resigned, and that was a bit premature. Well, I mean, he was really struggling and about to do it. So I do have a bit of sympathy for that, but that's basically ended the game. Where are these catapults gone? Okay, it looks very much like Green is.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, it was those things. He finally got it. Yeah, he's got his wonder. He can now theoretically have 360 people. Well done. He hasn't got anything. But prime example there of where they, yeah, like strategic area. I think that's one of the things that I like about Ambush actually, is the fact that it's much more of a game of strategy. It's not just let's build a really big army really quickly, like who can do that. It's also things like, well, this area that was Yellow's to defend. Absolutely could easily have defended that, and he just made some bad decisions, and left his flank completely exposed, which again I've sympathy with. I would probably be very similar, but you can see Red absolutely tore it away, got everything else. He just went through the roof. Look, it was economy and military probably as well. Yeah, militarily, blue was weaker. Let's see in terms of units. Where's the kill death ratio? Yeah, you can see 0.51, but that of almost 3. So almost 3 people killed to every one that you find of your own soldiers gets killed is pretty impressive. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you also have a think about playing with that. Oh, I forget what like with ambush maps, because they're good fun. Yeah. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you've learned a little bit, and obrigado e até logo.